This data tree visualization maps over 50 generations of a single family, stretching from 684 AD to the present day. The branching patterns on this tree illustrate a specific movement across the map, a geopolitical blueprint of how a lineage reorganized itself to survive the collapse of its own central state. The lineage begins in the open plains of Shakambari, tracing its origins to Vasudev and taking concrete shape with Generation 1's Maharaj Samantrach. Over the next few centuries, the family aggressively centralized its authority. By the 10th century, Generation 12's Maharaj Simraj became the first to claim the supreme title of Maharaja Dhiraja, or Emperor. This centralization peaked with Generation 22. Under the rule of Maharaj Prithviraj Chauhan III, they commanded a massive, unified domain across northern India. Then came the year 1192 AD. Prithviraj Chauhan fell in battle, and the central empire was abruptly, violently decapitated. Usually, when a highly centralized state collapses, its royal bloodline is hunted and erased from history. Yet the Deora survived and continuously multiply across the map. How? This map of Rajputana highlights their initial problem. The central plains around Ajmer were wide open and vulnerable to invading cavalry. Long before the 1192 collapse, parts of the family sought defensible terrain. Maharaj Lakshman preemptively moved and founded a new stronghold at Nadol. These new geographic nodes operated with significant military autonomy. In 1178, Rao Kelhan Dev of Generation 19 successfully fended off an invasion by Muhammad Ghori entirely on his own. 3 years later, Rao Kirtipal pushed even further south. He conquered the fortress of Jalore and established the powerful Songara Chauhan branch. But massive fortresses have limits. In 1311, Jalore suffered a brutal siege. Generation 24's Rao Kanhadeta and Generation 25's Kunwar Viramdev were killed in the fighting, and the fortress was broken. Concentrating military power in a single major fortress, no matter how imposing, proved to be a fatal geopolitical flaw against well-supplied invaders. The family had to evolve its survival strategy once again. That evolution happened immediately. During the exact same timeline as the disaster at Jalore, Generation 25's Rao Lumba executed a completely different maneuver. Instead of rebuilding in the vulnerable lowlands, he abandoned them entirely. Between 1311 and 1315, his forces moved up and captured the high-altitude territories of Mount Abu and Chandravati. This geography was steep, rocky, and hostile. The Aravalli Mountains functioned as an impenetrable natural shield, making it nearly impossible to march heavy armies inside. Beyond the jagged peaks, the landscape provided hidden sustainability. These isolated, resource-rich valleys offered the exact security the family needed to safely regroup. By trading the expansive plains for these steep mountains, the Deoras made a conscious choice. They sacrificed the capacity for offensive imperial expansion to secure absolute, permanent defensive security. The final major geographical node fell into place decades later. In 1374, Generation 30's Rao Ranmal established Old Sirohi. Here, the dynasty finalized its structural evolution. They completely stopped trying to expand their borders and focused entirely on expanding their family network. Instead of keeping power hoarded with a single central king, the Deora lineage deliberately fractured its authority into smaller, interconnected micro-principalities, known as Tikanas. Generation 32's Dangarji and Generation 33's Bedoji seeded localized estates across the region, places like Padiv, Radbar, Chuli, and Pindwara. The military brilliance of this decentralization is clear. If an invading army arrived, there was no single capital to capture. It became geographically impossible to wipe out the family line in one battle or siege. The early, centralized Chauhan Empire functioned like a massive oak tree. It was tall and imposing, but a severe enough storm could uproot the entire thing. The modernized Deora dynasty acted like a banyan tree. By dropping hundreds of new, independent roots into the surrounding soil, the broader organism survived even if the main trunk was cut down. The hundreds of names spanning generations 34 to 50 are the physical result of that strategy, a lineage that effectively achieved immortality by scattering its roots to outlast the empires that tried to erase it.